are live. We're almost ready.
Alright, I'm back. Yay! Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think I think we could let them in now.
Alright,
Alrighty.
let them in.
Hello, hello, hello. Greetings, everyone. We'll give you a minute to set up your audio or your video if you want to. And we also ask that you keep your mic on mute just to reduce the noise. Thank you very much. We have a larger turnout this time. Glad you're all here with us. And if you need a little helpful hint to turn down the music, just click on the little pop-up in the middle of the screen and you can actually adjust the volume right there. Okay, so I think that's it. I think that's everyone. I think we have everyone here. So I'm gonna pause the music for a bit and stop it. Oh, the volume doesn't work? Oh, I'm so sorry about that, Lucky. So we're not gonna have music on throughout the entire event. But thank you very much. Thank you for joining. We're so happy to have you here. Welcome. For those of you that are new to design sprints, thank you for joining and buying a ticket. Your ticket is helping to support this community. If you're unfamiliar with Butter, it's really super simple. You could use reactions if you want to give us a thumbs up. Sometimes you might ask for engagement. Just give us a thumbs up if you understand. Or you could raise your hand or request to have something to say. We'll address you and you could speak on mic, or you could use the chat feature. Okay? So, let's start the agenda, shall we? Claire?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, wait, I could start it here. Never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just to get you guys familiar with Miro, we're going to do this icebreaker activity. It's pretty simple. So we have a few dating app prompts. So you might have seen this on Hinge or Bumble or any kind of dating app. We're going to ask you to respond to these prompts here. All you really need to do is pick a sticky note, or you could create one by going to the side panel and you click on the sticky note icon, which is underneath the text. And yeah, we'll give you a few minutes just to come up with responses for each, and then we'll take it up as a group together. Does that make sense?
You
Just
can
give
give
me.
a thumbs up reaction to let us know that you're good.
Seems
Oh, I
like
see a question mark.
oh,
So I think William had some questions. So if you want to type in the chat, or you can unmute yourself to let us know you're having issues. Um, Basically, this exercise we are just practicing. Just basically try to icebreaker. Like, so you were just getting to know each other. Okay, cool, you get it. All right. Yeah, so you can just use the panel.
oh yeah, I'll read out
Oh,
the
okay, nice.
prompts.
Okay, I thought it was a question mark. Okay, cool. Sorry, misunderstood. But you guys can go ahead and just start writing.
Yeah.
Um,
So the first question prompt here, I'll just say it out loud so everyone can see and hear. What fictional friend group would you like to join? So fictional friend group could be like television show characters, movies, just someone who's not real. Yeah, and the next question prompt would be important question. What do you think is the best way to prepare for a zombie apocalypse? And then the next question after that is, how do you take your coffee? And this could be your Starbucks order. It could be anything. If you don't drink coffee, you could also mention something else here. And the last question prompt is, what's the worst opening line you've ever gotten on a dating app? Could be a pickup line, could be a cheesy one-line opener. Anything will do. And we'll just give you like a few minutes just to get familiar with the functions and add a sticky note. I'm gonna add a reply to this one as well because I made this sticky note here, and I'm gonna respond to the rest of the prompts. I think I have ideas. Oh, we have one more guest that's joining us. Oh, I think it was Lucky. I think maybe they went offline. They're back again. Hey, welcome back. Should we have a time limit, Claire, for the sticky notes?
Why don't we give it like another two because it looks like most people are done.
Okay, just
Yeah.
another 2 minutes, guys. I'm trying to think of something to say about the last one because there's just so many that are just bad. So many bad open liners.
Oh, I've got some very cringe ones. Yeah.
Okay. So, do you think we'll call time now or
Yeah, I mean it's been 2 minutes. I think we're
okay?
good. I think everyone's done writing. So
Okay, cool. Alrighty. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna go through each of the prompts, and if we pick a sticky note and it happens to be your idea, just let us know what you think of your sticky note. Like maybe you might want to explain your note if we need more clarification. So here it says, "What fictional friend group would you like to join?" Someone said the New Girlfriends. I've never seen the New Girl, but what are her friends like? Can someone remind me? Has anyone seen that show? Okay. I don't know. Have you seen this show, Claire?
deathly silence. I mean,
Okay.
you guys can turn up your mic and talk. Yeah.
Oh, okay. There's a message here from Leslie. They are three guys that are just really silly. Okay. Yeah, that 70s show, that would be kind of cool. I don't know. I think I would be. What's Mila Kunis's character's name? I don't know. She was always my favorite, and also Ashton Kutcher. And then
Jackie.
Jackie. Yeah, I love Jackie. How I Met Your Mother's group. Yep. The Boys. What's The Boys?
Legendary.
Is
Legend. Wait for it, Derry. Barney. I love Barney. Yeah.
is this like the vampire film, The Boys? Is that what I'm thinking?
No, that's the show from Amazon. It's like about a bunch of really like well, I'm not gonna curse like effed up like superheroes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I have
It
to
was
watch
really
that.
weird. Yeah, but it's good. I didn't watch it, but yeah, but my friends and my brother were like crazy about it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
It's
I
about a show that
sorry.
like there are villain kind of superheroes and normal boys they are going after them, killing them.
Oh my gosh, that sounds cool. I don't have Amazon Prime, but I wish now. I want to check that out. I was also gonna say, the characters from Silicon Valley, they sound like really cool people to hang out with, especially Erlock. I love Erlock Bachman's character. And also Dinesh, he's so funny. But yeah, the sticky note that I have here is Enid and Rebecca from Ghost World.
Hmm.
So this is based on like a comic that was made into like a movie in the early 2000s with like Scarlett Johansson. But no, I just love them. They're just so weird. They kind of remind me of my high school friends. That's why. Next question is important question. What do you think is the best way to prepare yourself for a zombie apocalypse? So the sticky note says camping to learn how to live off the land. Okay, very good. Camping and then also running away from zombies. And then having a farm and a doomsday shelter. Oh, that's wicked. Uh, was this throw flame weapons like a flamethrower? Oh my god, that's hardcore.
Oh,
Uh,
Molotovs.
yeah, Molotovs, absolutely. Um, yeah, I said to find the nearest Twinkie factory and salvage supplies. Cause look, if it's the apocalypse and no one's producing food, I heard Twinkies can last for a real long time. So you might want to just live on lots of fat and sugar if you're going to be running away from zombies. Yeah, and then this one says create body armor. Okay, that's wicked. If you know how to create it, I do not. Create self-sustaining farm and protect it. These are all lovely ideas. Like taking care of the planet, you're all very sustainable, whilst also fighting off the zombies. That is so good. Learning to fly. Learning to fly. Who said that one? It was you, Lucky. Okay. Why do you want to learn to fly? Maybe if the zombie apocalypse could happen, then why not fly, right? Both things are fictitious, so it's like, yes, absolutely. It's all game.
I think it's like an escape route thing,
Yeah.
right? It's like, well, they can't fly for sure, so if I'm off the ground, I'm safe.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, next question is how do you take your coffee? So would you say this is like the make or break question if you want to date someone further? Is how they answer this question? I don't know.
For
But
me,
I'm a
it's the
coffee
cereal
snob.
milk.
Yeah,
For me,
this
it's the cereal milk pour. I think people who pour milk first before cereal are like crazy. Like jokingly saying they're crazy, but I just find that really weird.
wait, pouring the milk first and then cereal?
Yeah, like normally you pour the cereal first and you pour the milk in, but there are
Yeah.
like 5% of the population that pours the milk first and then the cereal. But it doesn't make sense
Oh
because when
my
you pour
god.
it, it floats to the top. So
Yeah.
it's like I don't
Like
know.
how do you determine the right volume of milk before putting the cereal in? It doesn't make sense. You're right. And then also there's the argument about the toilet paper being is it underneath that you roll it or over top? And people who do it the opposite way where it's rolling behind and you have to like grab the paper, oh, that's dangerous. I'm not
Yeah, the
sure if
same
I can get
packaging
along with
thing.
someone like that. All right, so this one says
Yeah.
matcha for me, please. Okay. Starbucks brown sugar oat milk shaken espresso with less ice. I've never actually I actually did order it and I thought I ordered just a regular iced latte cuz it tastes the same. Does anyone notice the difference between the shaken espresso versus just the iced latte? It tastes the same. Um Cappuccino, lovely. Decaf, reasonable amount of sugar, wicked. Flat white with a little sugar. I love flat whites. Those are amazing. And then the last question is, what's the worst opening line you've ever gotten on a dating app? They're usually good. Okay, who said this one?
At 2 a.m. they say hi and nothing else. Oh, you said they're usually good. Oh,
Okay. And then this one says wanna hook up. No. And then this one says just
straight to
going
the point.
straight to NS. Oh wow, instead of saying hi. Exactly. That's the worst. Funny one I heard. Smart is the new sexy. What does it say? How
How
about you
about
and
you,
me
me, and
and one
one
hot
hot
game of
game of Monopoly?
Monopoly? What? That is cringe. All of this is cringe.
I have a very cringe one that I would share like to till this
Okay.
day. That okay.
Okay.
So the backstory is I have So I don't know if a lot of you play video games, but then like I cosplay during Halloween, so I have a photo of me cosplay as Tifa from Final Fantasy VII.
Mm.
And so this guy, instead of like recognizing my character, thought I was Lara Croft from Tomb Raider.
Oh no.
And the opening line was, "Hey, Hottie, let me play with your relics sometimes?" Heh, like that. And I'm like,
Ew.
first of all, wrong character. Second, no relics are gonna be played. Bye. So delete and block.
Yes, delete, block, change your name, move to a different country. Yeah, I guess that's it for the 15 minutes of the icebreaker, but
Mhm.
should we do just a quick vote or do you think we should move on?
I think we can just move on.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. This was
Cuz
fun though.
yeah, it is. Cuz yeah, we got a lot of stuff to go through. So let's move on to the next bit. Right. Whoops. Okay, we got it. So, for those of you who have not joined us from last week, we're just going to do just a brief overview. We're not going to spend too much time um, reintroducing the topic. If you need a reintroduction, you could always watch the previous recording that we have from last week. Um, so, I'm just going to show you part one. So, if we just move up to the screen where I am, and we're in part one, I'll just show you this map here. Okay, so we did a what, why, how, and when map to figure out how to define the problem, and we created a assumption or a hypothesis that we're going to be leading with this design that we're going to be creating. So let's just say we are a startup and we're creating a new dating app. This is where we would start. We would start to think about why we're trying to solve this problem for the user, why it's important. And considering that we've done some previous research here, you could always look this up in your own time after the event is over. But basically, we talked as a group about the data. We talked about what are the common problems that happens when users are being ghosted through dating apps. And we noticed that like a lot of people who use dating apps, they have a hard time staying engaged. So we boiled it down to this phrase here, which I kind of had to re-edit from last week so it makes more coherent sense. But we believe that users who are afraid of conflict, they don't want to like reject someone personally, they would probably prefer to either stay engaged with their map or reject their match in a way that is going to reduce less stress for them as well as less stress for the user who's actually getting rejected. So how this will help them is when they're losing interest, they're going to get on-screen prompts to kind of help them to make a decision whether to stay engaged with this person or whether to just cut them loose. Does that make sense? Just give me a thumbs up if like that's okay. And if you have questions, feel free to raise your hand. Cool. And then after that, we decided to do some brainstorming. And the brainstorming aspect is really different this time. So instead of just shooting out a bunch of solutions to the problem and see what sticks, we did this map called opposite thinking. So opposite thinking is basically a way to basically check if your ideas have flaws. It's great to come up with new and inventive ideas, but this way we could reduce bias by considering the opposite as being true. So we started off with a few assumptions that we had about users. We first made the assumption that single people don't like being ghosted, but what if they actually do? What if they actually do enjoy being ghosted? Or what if the user actually prefers to be ghosted than to be told that they've been rejected? So we had to think of solutions for that challenge, as well as rethinking our solution so it's improved. And at the end, we came up with a few solutions, which is we could be creating an app that could redirect a user to a better quality match. Let's say a conversation was going dry. We could always introduce a new user for them to talk to right after they've been rejected. So it doesn't seem that bad, right? And then we also talked about a reputation score. It's kind of vague, but based on how dating apps usually work, there's usually machine learning that is involved with them, making calculations on who you're going to be matched with. And we also thought about maybe including an algorithm for a ghosting score, sort of like with Snapchat, where your interactions or every action that you do within the app is recorded. This could be the case with ghosting. If you don't properly give closure to some of your conversations, maybe your score goes up or something like that. So that's a little bit vague, but that was just an idea that we came up with through this exercise. And then another solution that we came up with was to do with the assumption that ghosters are real, authentic people. There's problems with people creating fake profiles, catfishing, and it's kind of dubious whether the person that you're talking to on the app is really a friendly person or whether this person wants to take money from you. So, to help protect our users and keep them safe, we thought about um, having some kind of report system so that users can report suspicious profiles that they think is a little bit inconsistent. We also thought about social media verification or photo verification, which is what other apps use like Hinge and Bumble, to make sure that you are the person that's being presented in your profile pictures so that you're not misleading people. And showing very clearly to users that the profile is verified would also be like helpful as well. So the thing is about this particular exercise is we didn't really collect all these ideas, and we're not going to like prioritize it like we usually do with an impact and effort matrix. So what we'll do for our next activity, which is to look at personas and the user journey map, with in mind what our goal is, we're trying to help people who are afraid of conflict to end a relationship or to continue it by using on-screen prompts. And we also need to help them to match with the right kind of person so that this could happen, right? Keeping in mind that these features might be something that you might sketch into your next prototype. This is something that you could decide with your teams at the end of the session if you want to explore some of these ideas and start to visualize it. Let's go back down to part 2. And let's talk about the personas. And before I talk about personas, do we have any questions about what was done last week? Nope. Okay, I will move on. And if you have any questions, feel free to use the chat or you can raise your hand. Okay, so persona review. How many of you have actually made personas? You have experience? Okay, that's pretty much most of us. So we understand that when we collect data from interviews, from diary studies, or from surveys, all this stuff can help us to build a persona. And that for this particular persona, it's a mix of theory as well as our survey results. Unfortunately, this time around, we weren't able to interview people that took our survey. So we had to create a story or a backstory for our user just to give it a bit more context so that you'll understand who you're building this product for. So in summary, Theodore is single. He's living in the East Coast of North America. He's having trouble finding a partner while he's on tour with a band. So he's kind of getting famous and he's making quite a bit of money making music. He likes to keep a low profile. He's a little bit introverted, reserved, and he just really wants to find a nice person that, you know, has the same values and, you know, they mesh and they're good on the same level intellectually. He's been ghosted quite frequently, usually after meeting up for dates. So he's not really feeling comfortable using dating apps right away. Like he feels like, you know, it's gonna be the same thing over and over again. So we're trying to help Theodore overcome his fear of rejection and to find someone who likes him for him, someone who has similar values. And we're gonna jump into some of the specifics about what his goals and wants are. So some of his goals are he wants to meet someone with strong political views like him. So we don't know what his political views are. He could be liberal, he could be libertarian, could be anything. It doesn't matter. For your users, it's important not to stereotype them too much because that will also lead to more biases, and that's what we just don't want to do with our users is to categorize them based on bias, but we should look at them in terms of their needs. Um, so this particular person wants prompts to initiate conversation because, like I said, they're a bit reserved, they're a bit shy, they don't know what to say. They want to find someone genuine, so they don't want a fake profile. This is part of their frustrations. They don't like fake profiles. They don't like shallow people. So they're going to be making judgments based on what they see on their profile, how many words they use, what kind of pictures that they're showing. Um, and then another sticky here about his goals is he wants to share Instagram pictures of his band. So he wants to share part of his life and his passions so that he can connect with people who are kind of on the same wavelength. And he also wants to find someone nearby who is likely to respond. So just sort of like what we were talking about with last week, we can start to make connections as to like what kind of features we could build for this particular app. But most dating apps tend to have these kind of features anyway, so it's important to kind of like make sure that when we're designing prototypes that we include features that users are probably more familiar with. As for frustrations, it's kind of like what I said before, low quality matches. Either the person is just not having a lot of information or data on their profile to make a judgment on, and they're just being matched saying, hey, like choose this person, date this person. They have nothing on their profile. That's really a frustration for him. And then swipe and like limitations. From last week, we mentioned there was like a psychological study being done on swiping functions, creating negative kind of like mental health impacts on users. So the whole swiping and being rejected and spending loads and loads of hours on your phone looking for a match really causes people some mental health issues. And definitely we saw that being scored on our survey as well. And if you see the data results, you'll have a look at how much it has impacted people. So swiping and liking really doesn't work for this guy. And then the apps that he uses before, or he has active profiles on, is Hinge. He uses Bumble. He uses Facebook, Spotify, Tinder, and Instagram. Um, so, do we have any questions about the persona? I'm gonna check out the chat. Looks like there's a lot of messages here I might have missed. Oh, I think Lucky has a question. So, Lucky, we're all ears. Do you have a question?
I was wondering how can we come up with a, like content for the persona using our research, like we have the frustrations, goals, and stuff, but uh, how do we come up with a person? Yeah, giving him a name and a background and like the age range. Like how can we come up with those kind of stuff? I'm sorry, I'm not good in this particular area.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, so I won't be tasking you with creating a persona. This is the persona that we're giving you as a working model for our user journey map and for wireframe sketching. But if you're interested to know how personas are made, usually between me and Claire, we would review the user data together and we would do this step called affinity mapping. So, what affinity mapping does is you start to group data that you collected from your survey and start to detect patterns. So, you either start grouping things based on demographics, based on frustrations, based on any kind of information that you get out of surveys. So, depending on how well you edit and revise your survey, you can get a lot of good answers from your survey that will help you to build a persona. And it's even better to do an interview because when you do interviews, then you have a context for why the user is experiencing a problem. And that way, it makes it easier for you to communicate with your team, with developers, or with marketing teams, or whoever needs to know about the persona, why the user needs certain features, why they're having the problem. And then you have a working model as to say, hey, this person actually has a life. This is what's preventing them from getting where they need to go in their life, and we need to fix it by building a certain product or a certain app or a certain feature. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. Yeah, so we're gonna move on with the next part of our agenda, which is a break. Cool. So we have a 5 minute break. After that, we will jump into the user journey map. And with the user journey map, we'll just discuss everything step by step. So don't worry, I won't leave you guys alone. So we'll be back 5 minutes. I'm going to turn on some music and we'll see you soon. Okay? Alrighty. Alrighty. 5 minutes is up. 5 minutes is up. We're done. Let's come back to user journey mapping. I'll just give everyone just a few seconds to come back. And if you're ready, just give me a thumbs up so I know when to start, okay? Cool, that looks like pretty much most of us. Okay, so how many of you have actually done user journey mapping or something like it? Okay, 1, 2 people. 3. Okay, so a good amount of you. Okay, so basically what a user journey map is going to help us to do is plan the steps that a user is going to take until they reach the desired results. So the results could be anything that we would want the user to do. So in this case, we really want users to pick up this app, to get on their first date, to not get ghosted, to stay engaged with people, and to hope that they will find a happily ever after in the end. Who knows? So we broke down our user journey map so it's a little bit more condensed for this exercise, and we have different phases. So the first phase here is awareness. So this is going to be about the user becoming aware of a particular app. So we might want to think about where is it that the user is going to be discovering our app? Is it going to be through the App Store? Is it going to be through our website? Another thing to consider is the consideration stage. So the consideration stage is when the user is thinking about choosing this app over the other apps that they have. So for example, our persona here, Mr. Theodore, he already has an account on Hinge, on Bumble, and Tinder. So if he has all these apps and he's considering letting one go and taking one over, we might want to consider like what's it going to take for him to choose our app versus the competition. Perhaps we're doing something that the competition isn't doing, right? As far as I'm concerned, Tinder isn't preventing people from getting ghosted. And then the next section is usage. We want to think about the first experience. What are the first actions that a user is going to do? Are they going to make a profile? Are they going to make an account? Like, we need to think about each phase until success, which is what we want as an outcome is the person goes on a date. So from the app, they go on the date, and hopefully it would be a success, and they will use this app to either communicate with this person or they won't use the app at all. So Hinge is one of those examples of an app that uses this phrase for their marketing and their branding is they're the app that's meant to be deleted. So their outcome as like a company is we want people to find someone so that they don't need to use dating apps. So we might want to consider that as part of our end result as well. We don't want people to be alone and being ghosted. We want people to not be ghosted or to at least move on and find someone that's more like them. So does that understand with the explanation? Like we understand? We're good? Okay. So we're going to start off with the first column here. We're going to talk about user goals. So in this row for user goals, we're trying to like break it down into one idea and keep it consistent so that we don't get a little bit confused. So right now I put a demo sticky, which is sort of like we're finishing it up so that you have an idea of how to complete this exercise. And it says here, the goal for this user is to search for a date/romantic partner. It doesn't get any more complicated than that. And the actions that the user is going to take is they're going to search within the Apple App Store. So this particular user is an iOS user. They use their phones daily. It is likely that they're going to be making actions on a mobile screen. So I'm also going to put another sticky note here for mobile so that it's a little bit clear that this person is making an action on a mobile screen. And then when it comes to pain points, we should also think about what are the possible problems that could happen um, when a user is searching for a dating app. Um, we could think about possible barriers that would prevent this user to download this app or to use it. Um, it could be to do with the software itself. It could be to do with anything. So what we're going to do for this exercise is if you have an answer, you could feel free to, shout it out and I can write it out on a sticky note. Otherwise, if you go ahead and make a sticky note, just remember to, before you put it on the board, we talk about it and discuss each point, and then we add it to the board so it doesn't get too crowded. Okay? So for pain points, we're thinking about the user trying to find a date and they're looking for other solutions, other dating apps. Internet speed might be an issue, Sunny says. Um, it could be. It could be. And this is something that we wouldn't be able to control. Oh, and then Mandy says there's too many options for dating apps. Okay. So, how could we resolve that? If there's too many options for dating apps, how do we narrow it down so that users who are trying to find our particular dating app, how are they going to find us? Right? I'm going to put that down. Because this is also important to know that, like, when we're trying to specifically tailor this app for a niche, maybe the question of maybe we should be more niche and try to focus on something that's going to be applicable to this user. So when there are too many dating apps available, let's think of it like this. We have one pain point here, which is about the too many apps to choose from, right? User could be inundated with choice. So when it comes to pain relievers, what can we do if, let's say, we are part of this startup team and we're developing this app and this product? What can we do to directly relieve this? Like, how can we reach out to the user so that it's more direct? Social media post. Okay. Target a particular demographic. Okay. Make it different. Do you have something to say, Claire?
Oh no, I was gonna say if they have ideas, like why don't they write it down on the stickies instead of writing in the chat? Yeah.
Yeah. They could use mic. They could use chat. You could use the stickies as well. Just
Yeah.
green
Try to
for
keep
pain
it
relievers, and
like,
then
yeah, keep the color, yeah. So red for pain points and then green for pain relievers. Yeah.
mm-hmm. I was also gonna say, like, just like what some I forget what it was who said that. I think it was Loki. Let me look at the chat. Yeah, William. He had a good idea. He says to target to a particular demographic. That's definitely something that we could do. Um, target to a specific demographic. In this case, it's most specifically to do with ghosting. And then also when it comes to keywords used, or even hashtags or keywords used on social media, we can definitely target people that way. I've also noticed, like, I came across this app probably after the first week that we did a sprint, but there's actually a anti-ghosting app. I think they're based out of the UK, and they've had this product available for like a few years. So yeah, there are actual dating apps that's based around ghosting or mitigating ghosting. So if someone is having a hard time with the regular dating apps that they use and they don't want the same regular crap that they've had, they might go for something more specific and niche. And yeah, I think that's these are all kind of compelling ideas and they kind of relate. So if you were on a team with people who are more into like digital marketing, then this could be relevant. And then even when it comes to building out the product itself, understanding the user's core concern, which is to do with ghosting, is still pretty relevant for anyone developing. Um, Editor's choice. Okay, that's one thing I haven't considered was like how does Apple decide or rank apps in the App Store? Um, I'm wondering if anyone knows or Claire, do you know?
Say your question again.
I'm kind of wondering how the Apple App Store ranks performing apps. Like sometimes they get certain distinctions, like this is the
Yeah.
number one rated app, or this is the most downloaded, or
They do have couple categories. I know sometimes it's based on the user reviews. So if a lot of
mm,
more people give like a 5 star rating, then they
yeah,
will prioritize that into a hierarchy. Or like for example, sometimes it's also relating to direct marketing of the applications. Just
mhm,
because like for example like Hinge, right?
mhm,
They have this MVP and slogan of, oh, make you delete the app,
mhm, mhm,
like it's designed to be deleted because they want you
mhm,
to find someone.
mhm,
Even though I know recently they've been shifting their market again,
yeah,
but at least that's like something that people can base upon, at least. But I would say as like a general user, you should like go with the reviews. Since you from reading the reviews, you can tell like there's a lot of things like maybe like there's a paywall or like there it's like a rip off, or like like the algorithm is terrible.
mhm,
So I think mostly based on like feedback from end
yeah.
users.
And this is something that could be built within the app itself. Like if we have some
Hmm.
kind of prompts for engagement, like, hey, give us a 5 star rating and really push it, then yes, that it could lead the app to being like on a high rank, right? So all of these
Hmm.
ideas are kind of worth like investigating when it comes to helping users to make a more simplified decision so that there's more trust, so that they believe that this app will help them to solve a certain problem and that other people have similar experiences. Um, and definitely being influenced by friends. I think there's this sticky note here about referrals. So if the user was actually brought to our app from a referral, that's also something to consider as well. Um, Obviously, this is like a theoretical sprint. So let's just say let's say we already don't have the product up to launch yet, but we've already done the job of like getting the word out there. We could start to consider these things as being actions that we could take. But as for the app itself, let's move on to the next column so that we can move on to the next section. This one is about consideration, researching options. So as they're browsing, there's too many things to choose from, but it can be resolved if we are bumped up in rankings, if more people are uh, talking about us. Obviously, it's going to be more likely that this user will find us or at least consider us. At the consideration stage, what are some things that the user might actually do? Like, what are their goals when they are um, considering an app? I'm gonna drop an empty sticky note here, but feel free to edit your own, and then I could just look at them. Yep, price, ratings, reviews. Um, so the user goals would be determining whether this app is free or not. Because I don't know about you, but if I were to download a dating app, and especially if it's not like a recognized dating app, I would try to make sure like, hey, like how much money do they expect us to spend? Is this exclusive? Do you have to pay to use Messenger? Because that would just be a total turnoff, right? So let's just say users trying to figure out. um, price at this point? Is there a price point? Um, they could also be checking the app store's ratings, which is an action that they'll do. So I'm going to move it here. Here, I'm going to rephrase this from price to, they're going to be, let's say, discovering limitations. Uh, I think maybe phrasing it like this makes sense in my head because when a user is discovering an app or looking through the features and seeing, hey, is this really for me? What they might also be doing is this too good to be true? Like, this sounds like a great idea, but is it not legitimate somehow? So they might actually be looking for errors or something wrong before they actually commit putting their personal data into it. They might be discovering limitations. They might also be discovering um, how to keep their data private, or whether or not they are required to, I don't know, like give away a lot of personal information at first. So they might want to consider those things like privacy policy or something like that. Um, Privacy policies, they might know about, is it free or not, or is it, I'm going to rephrase this as, is it free? Is it safe? User wants to know if this app is basically legit because there's a lot of fake things out there. And the actions, what will they do? So they'll check the app store ratings, of course, and then checking YouTube videos of the app. Okay. Or looking at the website. Yeah, the website would be definitely a good place to start. Um, as for YouTube content, if we are going like the social media influencer route, that would be something for like marketing teams to definitely consider. But for now, we're just going to curtail it to product so that we could just stay focused on pain points and relievers that we can actually enact. But they're all great ideas. They all connect, and they definitely do. It does make an impression somehow. Um, Yeah, so they might be considering whether they need their to use their number to log in, and that's something that they'll definitely discover when they download the app. Number of active users. Yeah, I think for this particular, yes, I think this is really important, and the reason why it's important, I've definitely had this experience before myself. Um, when it comes to active users on a dating app, dating is really sort of like a numbers game. If there's very few people using an app, um, it's a question of, are you really going to find someone that's just like you? If it's a new dating app and only 100 users are on it, and let's say you live in a small town in the United States, it's like, and this app was launched in, let's say, Canada, it's like, how are you going to meet with someone? How are you going to date with someone if there's no one in your area, right? So knowing that the product is available and knowing that there's people in their area that they could talk to, I think that's going to be important for this user. They're going to consider that. So what are some possible pain points that could happen? What are some barriers that would prevent this user from committing to this app?
Hmm.
Resonating with bad reviews on multiple apps. Okay. Not enough reviews. Yeah. I'm going to put some of these here for now. UI looks shady. That's also a good point, which is something that I think not a lot of UX designers would talk about. Because when it comes to design, sometimes users can perceive whether a company looks legit just based on how the design of the page looks like. So if there's missing information, like there's no privacy policy, or there's no FAQs, or there's like inconsistent information, people will think like, how do you know if this is a real company? What if it's just a scam, right? So there's something that needs to be official on there that makes it look legitimate. Sometimes I've seen this before on landing pages. There might be endorsements from magazines that would say, hey, this particular app rocks, and they have like a testimony from a publication that is like trusted. Um, this one here does not address or solve their pain point. Yeah, of course. If we just completely went off the mark, they definitely would not use the app. Not enough users. That's also an important idea. We have a lot of ideas here, so for the sake of time, let's just stick with these ones for now. And let's think of some possible pain relievers. What could we do to address these problems? So what about shady UI? What could we do to fix that? It says Lackey says, is this from our side or the user side? Pain relievers are things that we can do as a team to, relieve this particular pain point.
I think I can answer that. Technically, it's like what we can do as a company to alleviate foreseeable disaster
Yeah.
that we have control of, let's
Yes.
say.
Yes.
Yeah.
Make sure that the UI looks professional and inviting. Okay. We could also think about it as like maybe if we align with the competition, like, and this is more to do with how users are familiar with certain UI patterns. So if we give them a completely different UI pattern for logging in and for sending a message, and it's completely different from Hinge, completely different from Bumble and Facebook or whatever, um, it could get a little bit crazy, right? So keeping things consistent and familiar kind of helps users to adopt your platform very quickly without having to learn how it works. So we could definitely do that by having good UI. So all of this is like aligned with UX. So let's just use this sticky note and keep in mind what I said. Competitive analysis. That's something that we could do. Yep. Doing research on the competition. But let's rephrase that to research, I guess, UI patterns of competition. Whoops. Competition. Definitely. We can mitigate disasters by doing user research. Excellent. So let's move on to the next section because we only have, I think we have like 10 minutes left. So let's just try to bang this out in like 5 minutes. So the next stage is going to be usage. So the user's already sold. They're like, okay, checks out. It's not a scam. It's totally good. How do I get started? And what do you think the user is trying to do from here? Obviously, they want to download the app, and they have. But, like, what are they trying to do when they are downloading the app? They probably want to get registered, right? Because if you want to get matched, it's really hard to just go there and be like, hey, I'm going to find a date and then talk to someone. It's like, well, there's steps before that. So they probably want to how do you call it? Well, they want to get registered, obviously, but I'm trying to think of how else to say it. Um. Well, I guess their goal is to. I'm thinking they kind of want to figure out. I think this is also a good time where people want to put in information of what they want in a date, or they're potentially wanting to share information about themselves. It could be either or. Because I know with OK Cupid, the way that their app works is that you start a quiz and you start to fill out your profile, right? Um, so filling out the profile can be very tedious. So if it's gamified in a way, it helps people to feel like they've completed something so that they can get a reward. So a technique that I've seen being used is whenever you try to complete your profile, it'll tell you like, hey, you're only 80% finished. If you finish your profile, you're going to get this many matches, or you can get more matches if you complete your profile. So there's an incentive and a motivation to do it, right? So I think at this point, when the users downloaded the app, yeah, I think that's it. They just want to share info on themselves or their preference. That's the word I was looking for. Preferences. Um, right. So where are they doing this? They're doing this on mobile. Within the dating app, and then pain points. Oh wait, no, actions. We also have to think about actions as well. Like what phase are they really in, and what are they doing on the mobile screen? Um, so they might be doing an on-screen prompt or just filling in information. So I'm not going to dictate like how the information will be filled, but they will just be inputting information. And then pain points that could happen when the user's trying to input information, either about themselves or about their preferences. Um, so we have read reviews, be able to navigate, prepare. Yeah, that was for the first part. And then the red part is pain points, unsure how to add. Not enough detailed preview screens. Having to pay for features. Yeah, I definitely think that's going to be obvious from the get go if they realize. Or maybe not. I don't think it's clear that the user would have to pay if they're inputting information, would they? Maybe that would come a bit later. I'm not sure.
Um, oh, you mean for paywalls, right?
Yeah.
Usually they would start with like a free trial, like
Mm.
if they consider. I mean, there are two scenarios. One, usually they give off a free trial to let you
Yeah.
test it out, or the really money hungry ones, they just straight up say, "Oh, we'd like to like use
Oh.
this. You have to pay now immediately."
Yeah. I noticed that with Hinge in their new update. I I restarted my account there, and right away after I input my information, they just said, "Hey, premium members get more matches. You could talk to more people by just going premium." So yeah, paywall could happen maybe at the matching phase.
I
So,
think the bottom stickies are from the previous column.
oh, okay. Yeah, no problem. So, I'll take this down. And then this one takes too much time, energy, definitely. Gonna put that down. Having to fill out too much information. Those are the two big ones. And then let's also think about pain relievers for this. Sorry about the timer being almost up. We'll be a little bit over time, but it's okay. We're almost done. Ah, this one's interesting. Connecting to social media accounts to reduce information being manually added. That could be a potential solution. I've seen that before with like SSO, which is like the single sign on. You could use like Gmail, and it will kind of copy details from your account there. But yeah, I think I've also seen that with Facebook too. If you register with a social media account, they could just extract some information, but the user still has the ability to edit the information. It just makes it easier than typing on a screen. So that's a good idea. Having good onboarding. I would also have to ask you, what is good onboarding? What would good onboarding look like? And I like this one here. Keep prompts short until they are in the app to finish setting up their information. Okay. Um, okay, so this is also a good idea too. And also to add on this, letting the user skip the registration part. Not necessarily like the important registration, like your email address or your phone number. Those things need to be done. Like there needs to be verification at some point. But when it comes to completing the profile, I think users should be allowed to stop and start or edit it as much as they want. Quizzes, also a good idea, but keep in mind that the quizzes should be concise, conversational, maybe, or something that's going to keep the user engaged and something that they can back out of if they don't want to do it. Okay, and then the next section. Obviously, I skipped this an important part, which is matching. So I think I'll re-edit this to matching and, you know, planning a date. Let's say. So at least we keep it in context within the app instead of outside of the app, because after the user meets the person, there's not much that we can control in terms of someone's conduct or their behavior, right? So bad things could still happen. However, Bumble, for example, they often give prompts to users to remind them to be careful and what to look out for in suspicious behavior. But after the fact, that's what we can't control. What we can control is the matching algorithm and how it is these people going to connect. So here we are. So Lackey says, how do we decide on that topic? Example, matching, planning a date. How do we decide? So with dating apps, they usually have machine learning or AI running in the background that will help you to match users. Obviously, this takes more technical skill. I'm not a developer. I don't do back-end development or front-end development, and not everyone here has development background, so we're not going to expect you to know how that will be built, but understanding the logic behind it is pretty important so that you could actually design an actual wireframe that developers can look at and say, okay, I can make this work out in the back end, or I can make it work in the front end. So that's all that we have to do as designers. Is we don't have to know how to make an AI bot work, but just know that you have to create some kind of user-facing screen for that. It says, I'm sorry I asked about how to decide on the topic of the journey map. Oh, yeah. So, like I said, this is very condensed. So the decisions was basically made on what is the user's experience and what are the possible things that could happen. A regular user journey map for a larger organization might be way more detailed than this. So we just compressed it into simpler stages just for the sake of creating this exercise. So let's just jump into the user goals for matching. So obviously at this point, the user is probably trying to look for a date or just casually just see what's out there. maybe they don't have a date in mind, but maybe they just want to see like who's using the app and what do they look like, what are people up to, right? Um, and considering the actions that the user is going to take, how are they going to find these matches? This user, keep in mind, on our persona, hates swiping and the like features. So obviously he's going to be selecting matches, or he's going to be responding to, I guess, notifications if we set that up. So that's going to be happening on the mobile screen. I'm just going to make a sticky note for that so we know in context where it's happening. It's not happening on our website. It's happening on the mobile app. What else should we know? Yeah, so one of the things that we need to figure out is matching. How is that going to happen? So this is something that I'll leave for the sketching part because I think we don't necessarily have to have a definitive answer for this yet. So let's just think about it like this. Let's keep in our heads what kind of matching we're going to be creating. So it could be done through quizzes because we mentioned it here. So based on the quiz results, there could be results based on user input. So whatever information that the users input in the registration stage is going to lead them to a match. So once they start engaging with that match, they might be responding to prompts. That's one thing that I forgot to mention. Like responding to profile prompts to start conversation. And then we might want to consider pain points at this stage as well. Like what's going to prevent this person from either sticking with this person or leaving them. And then that sticky note with having to pay for features might actually impact this. Because with a lot of dating apps, this is how they kind of make their money. They limit the amount of people that you actually match with, and you have to pay to have access to more matches. Or perhaps your matches are going to be incomplete or not quite as compatible, and you might get more compatible matches or more people talking to you if you pay for features through a paywall. Right, so fake interest matches create conflict. Who made this sticky note? Lackey? Okay. So when you mean fake interests, do you mean like a fake profile?
Try to appear cool by putting some fake interest. That's what I mean by that. And somebody get matches and they find out, okay, this person isn't like this, something like that. Like,
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, and for this particular persona, because he's also a musician, and we're not going to try and stereotype these people too much, but he may be interested in a certain type of music, and if someone says, hey, I like this kind of music, what do you like? Taylor Swift. Oh, I don't like Taylor Swift. It could be something like a mismatch, right? But when you're talking about fake, you're talking about deception, right? Like someone is catfishing, like deceptively putting in interests that are not that real to them. So we could also maybe rephrase that to like maybe like catfish account or something like that. I'm just going to rephrase that and put it here so it's a bit clearer. And then what else could happen? What could prevent this person from staying engaged or ghosting? So this one says their match is unresponsive. Yeah, people could just not be on the app for a long time. And then it's a question of, are they really ghosting? Maybe they just haven't been online, right? Um, incomplete. Location. What's this one about location? What's this about? Okay, so I'm going to make my best guess here because I don't see anything in the chat. Oh, wait, I think Newman is typing. My bad. So I'll wait. Sorry. I'll wait for the answer. Yeah, if they're not in the same city. So we could rephrase this to location or proximity is not close to the user, right? So just like what we discussed in the persona, these are also pain points that this user might have when matching with people. People being too far away. Obviously, with the matching algorithm, we hope to reduce that and mitigate that. So let's just figure out how we could do better. So this one says proximity range meter. So we could display this as an infographic. However, we could just, yeah, good filter system. There's also geolocation features on apps, and virtually every app that you have kind of tracks you in your behavior and whatever you're doing, and also your location. So we could have like a geolocation feature running in the background. And what it's going to do is perhaps display users within a certain radius, and then the user can decide how close they want someone. So I'm just going to rephrase that to user decides distance. And just like with Bumble and Hinge, if you go traveling, your current location is going to change wherever you go. So if you're from Denmark and you happen to be in Texas and you use your dating app whilst you're in Texas, you're going to get matches in Texas. And Lucky says, should we promote that it's a must to reply to a message or request? Because ghosting isn't cool in this app. Exactly. So how is this anti-ghosting feature going to work, right? So how are we going to prevent ghosting from happening at this point? Have a time limit like Bumble. That's another suggestion. Yeah, the report option is also useful, especially if you're not feeling safe, you don't want to continue talking to the person. We could do that at that stage. Right, so we kind of wanted to use some kind of prompts, right? So I think I'm going to write another sticky note based on these ideas. So we could have prompts to make conversation interesting. Okay? And then we could also have prompts at a certain limit if the user is not engaged. Let's just think about it like that. And then also prompts to ask user if they want to skip or reject. I don't know how to say it, but we could figure out what that feature will look like and sound like later. So we're a little bit over time, and I know we got all these justify your ghosting. Exactly. There's different ways that we could approach it when it comes to how can we show this message to the user. Will they respond in a certain way? All that could be figured out through user testing to make sure that the features are not actually causing harm to users. But in theory, we have a pretty good idea of when and where we can start introducing these features and start thinking about how it's going to look like. Um, so that's what we're going to do for our next stage. I'm going to keep your sticky notes here on the board. So definitely if we return back to this mural board, you might need to use this as a reference when you start developing hi-fi prototypes. But for the next section, we're going to go into Crazy Eights. Do we have any questions about the user journey map before we move into the next activity? Nope. Okay, we're cool. We're good to go. Alrighty. So Claire, do you want to explain Crazy Eights?
Yes, this is the fun part of this interactive workshop. So for those of you who actually, first question, has anyone of you ever done a Crazy Eight, or have you ever heard of this ideation method? So we see, okay, I see a mix of answers. Okay, we do have people that know. Okay, so, but I'll just do a brief explanation again. So usually with Crazy Eight, it's just a very rapid way to ideate a solution based on, in this case, the ghosting problem that we just discussed in the journey map and in the previous workshop as well. And so how it works is we basically get get a template, and you divide it into 8 square rectangle shapes here, which you see on the right side. And you spend a minute on each space to come up with a different solution. It can be anything, it can be a feature that you thought of, oh, that would be amazing to help out how it can resolve this problem. Or it can be an enhancement, maybe something that already exists, but you thought of maybe a better idea to improve it, to leverage the situation to help to solve the problem. Um, and it doesn't have to be artistically crazy. You can just even draw a diagram, you can write lines, just anything, because we value all the contribution and the feedback in this ideation stage. So be as creative, be as crazy as you want. This is why it's called Crazy Eights, just to jot down ideas of how you can turn this into a solution and present it in a more visual manner. um, so if you are on the board, can you please go to team A? Actually,
Oh,
Melanie, how many people do we have again? We have,
yeah, we have a lot more people this time.
okay,
So
so,
let's just do it like this. Let's just have sticky notes out here and just write your name on a sticky note. And then I will start to sort people into groups. Because,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, so once Melanie is done sorting you into the group, then you can head on to the board where it says Team A or Team B, whichever one you got assigned to. Pick a spot, write your little name down on the sticky note, and you can start ideating once we let you know
Okie
this
dokie.
time. And it's pretty easy. You can just use the pen tool um, on the left panel here. So if you just click on it, you can start doodling and drawing in these little boxes of your solution.
Okay. So for Team B, which is the blue, it's Mandy, William, and Lucky. And then for Team A, which is green, it'll be Sunny, Leslie, and Newman. Okay? So we got 3 people on each team. Am I forgetting anyone? No, I'm not. I think that's everyone. Yeah.
Yep, I think so too. Yeah.
Woohoo!
So once everyone is ready, we're going to start the timer, and you basically get 1 minute each on each space, and you can start ideating. So again, when you're all ready, when you found your space, little workstation, give us a thumbs up.
Oh, yeah, and definitely put your name on the sticky note so that we know it's your work. Can you have, a small example before you start? Yeah, so in the corner here underneath the Crazy Eights example, we have a sticky note that says demo. This looks a bit like chicken scratch, but it's okay. Like we said in the intro, you don't have to be perfect. You could just wing it. This is the best time to wing it, because once you get your ideas out, you'll know what works, what doesn't very quickly without investing so much time. And this is also an example here of what was done in another whiteboard sprint, but it's really hard to see, so you'd have to zoom in. But either way, this format is perfectly fine. Um, and to use the pen tool, we have a little hint here, a guide. If you just look at the animations, you'll find it on the left-hand panel. There's a little icon that looks like a pen underneath the line tool. Or you could use the keyboard command and press the letter P, and you should be able to bring up the pen. You could change the pen's width, you can change the size, you could change the color. That way, it won't be too frustrating to move through the the screens very quickly. You should be able to control everything from there. Okay?
I have a question.
Yep.
So, for the Crazy Eights, are we just doing like any screens or like onboarding screens or?
Right. So we could do anything. So you could do an onboarding screen, you could do a profile screen. I'm trying to remember, Claire, how did we do it last time? It was pretty much free form, right?
It's free form.
Yeah.
Like we don't want to limit just to a specific onboarding process. Like if you have any idea, because this is so it's important to sort of look back to what we just talked about now, right? Like we
Mhm.
go back to the user journey map and also reference the persona. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah, reference the
Mhm.
persona and use these as your points to leverage to your solution.
Yeah. And I know it's a lot of information hitting your face, especially if it's like you just came here from part 2. But just like we just said before about the pain points that the users are having, try to think about how we could design the match. Like, how is it the user is going to match with a profile? What's that going to look like? You could think about that. You could also think about what is a quiz going to look like. How will the dating prompts will look like? Just the things that we talked about. Some of these features. If you can hold some in your imagination, just try to focus on a few features that you'd like to design. Okay. And at the end, we'll be able to share and discuss our ideas and vote on different screens. So we'll have an opportunity to build on some of these ideas so that it's a bit more concrete. Alrighty?
Hmm.
So
All right, it
should
looks
we
like everyone is
start?
ready.
Okay.
So I'll start the timer now. So we can begin. You can start ideating on the first little space. Start sketching your idea.
Right. So it's 1 minute each. So we're going to time 8 minutes starting from now, right?
Yep, I
Okay.
just started the clock.
Okay, cool. Time is ticking. 1 minute each for each frame. So and also, you can definitely use the shape tools as well on Bureau, whatever is faster for you. Pen tool works for some, but rectangles also work. Maybe I should play some music.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's a bit of an echo. Is it from me or you? No, it's not from me. There we go.
Okay, 1 minute is up. Let's move on to the next space.
Oh, I think we're getting a bit of feedback from you, Claire. Yeah, thank you.
I will be letting you know when the minute is up. Yeah, because so we do have the timer on the top left corner. But I'll remind you when it's 1 minute.
Yes.
Okay, 1 minute, it's up. On to the next one.
It's intense.
Yeah, don't worry about making it too detail. And you have the chance to explain
Mm-hmm.
exactly what your idea at the end of this.
Mm-hmm. Fast and messy.
Yeah. Okay, 1 minute is up again onto the fourth one, the fourth solution.
William says he's sweating. Witness the fitness.
It's very exhilarating, but once you get more hands-on experience, this will become like very easy. 'Cause we do this a lot in an actual like company setting environment, especially when we have to solve problem for like or prioritizing an MVP for a product.
Mm-hmm.
All right, 1 minute, it's up on to the next one.
So this one's number 5?
Yeah, number 5.
Oh, Mandy has a comment. Should we give the floor to Mandy? Oh, you pressed it by mistake. Okay, no problem.
All right, 1 minute, it's up again onto the 6th solution. A pro tip about this too, if you don't think you have 8 solution idea per se, but let's say if you have one that you think it can be having like 2 or 3 variations, feel free to do that as well. So we would just like to see all the ideas that you have. All right, and that's the time for another minute, and we should be on to the next one. We have 2
This
left.
one's okay. So this one's number 6.
This one should be number 7.
Oh, number 7. Got it.
Yeah. Okay, final stretch, the last one, everyone. All right, and that's 8 minutes. Time's up for Crazy 8.
Yay!
Good job,
Well
everyone. I
done.
see lots of writing, scribbling, boxes. Yes, love it.
Okay, and now comes the fun part. So the
Mhm.
next part is you're going to nominate 3 of your best screens, and we will go to each team member and talk about their 3 best screens. And
Should we
yeah,
should we have them do a bit of explanation first? Just a quick one,
yeah,
I guess.
that's exactly it. So
All
they'll
right.
yeah, so whoever's authored the screens are gonna pick 3 of the best ones, just so it's a little bit easier. And then you talk us through it, and then after that we will do a vote. Um, so first, what we do is everyone gets a chance to talk about their 3 best screens, and within your teams, we're gonna vote on uh, which solution was the most compelling. Um, so I think Claire, do you want to set up the emoji stickies so that we can use it
Yes.
for voting? So we need one for team A and then one for team B. That way it's a little bit easier. And the way that we're gonna do this is we're gonna let the first team talk about their screens first, and only members of their team are gonna vote for the screens that are the most compelling. And then we're gonna do the same thing for team B. So you could decide to pick your 3 best screens. A helpful suggestion is to either just drag a rectangle with an outline on it and make it thick so that we could see it, or you could just like use a sticky note or an arrow and just point out which screen that you want to talk about. Okay? So for now, I will give you time to decide your 3 best screens. So just like I said, just create some kind of rectangle shape, highlight it so we can see which ones you want to talk about.
Okay, so to clarify, we're
Mm-hmm.
picking one from each of our team members.
Oh, no, 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 no. So for your sketches that you've created, you're going to pick the 3 best sketches that you've created.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. And then we're going to go around as a team and explain why you've made the decisions before we vote. Okay?
Oh, and to answer and to answer Lucky's comments, like
Mm-hmm.
don't worry about like not looking like an actual UI or
Mm-hmm.
screen.
Mm-hmm.
At this stage, what matters is the idea.
Yeah. Oh yeah, William. Um, just so it's a little bit less confusing for voting, what I'll recommend is you could just create a rectangle shape to go around your drawing, and that way, if you create a thicker border, it'll be easier for us to know which ones you've picked. Yeah, because the emojis are going to be used for voting, and we just don't want to confuse anyone. So we'll start with Team A. It's okay. It's no big deal.
Yeah, no worries about
Yeah.
that.
So we'll start off from the top to the bottom. So, Newman, we're going to look at your three best screens, and you get to tell us why they are the best and what it is that you're trying to solve in each of these screens. Are you ready to present, Newman?
Yeah, please unmute your mic. I know you all have been pretty shy, but let's try to be a bit more interactive and engaging. We do need you to share exactly what was your ideation, and so that we can understand.
Oh, yeah, just to clarify, we're not emoji voting yet. What we're doing at this stage is you're going to select three drawings that you're going to present to the team so that we could vote for them a little bit later. So right now we're just looking at Team A. If you're still deciding which screen that you want to talk about, that's fine. Just letting you know we're moving on with the presenting the screens part. And if you have trouble with mic, let us know, and we could just look at your chat messages. Yumin, are you here? Is he online? Oh, it's okay. Are you able to? Oh, okay. So you're trying to talk and it's not working? Okay.
Okay, so if your mic is not working, is it okay if you type down like your ideas? And while you're typing down your ideation ideas, and we can move. Yeah, okay, thank you. We can move on with Sunny and have Sunny
Hello,
unmute and explain.
Yeah,
hello.
I think we can hear you. Yes.
Oh, hi.
Yeah. Hi. Sorry.
It's okay.
Nice,
Okay.
nice. Okay.
Okay. So these are my three favorite frames.
Mhm.
So what I tried to do was uh two things. One, in this frame, the one that says why.
Oh yeah, this one.
Um.
Mhm.
Okay. This is like a chat frame, right? It's like a conversation,
Mhm.
and the user doesn't reply anymore. Okay.
Mhm.
It's like the conversation just stops, just die. So the idea is like create like a pop out that says, "Hey, what's happened? I mean, there's something wrong here. Something happened. Uh, why did you don't reply anymore?
Mhm.
No, I don't know if that's like legal, but maybe
Mhm.
trying to understand why the conversation doesn't continue.
Mhm.
So yeah, and here is like maybe we can like try to design some rating on the user's profile, right? About how yeah how how the user mm, behave it in the dating part. I mean, after the match,
Mhm.
it's like a review from the date, right? So
Oh.
may
Mhm.
so yeah, so maybe if you match with someone, and well, maybe we can ask like, hey, so is everything okay? So how was it? Is everything good? I don't know. It was, like catch up after the date.
Right, right.
So maybe
Is that this screen here that you're explaining?
this one, this is. I mean, this one and
Oh.
this one is kind of similar. Here I write like after match. So after match, you got like one notification. It's like the app asking, tell us about the name of the user, right? About your date. Tell us about um, John.
Mhm.
You know, and then it's like, oh, so I don't know what can we ask, right? What
Mhm.
is like proper to ask, but
Okay.
maybe some information that allow us to build this this person profile as a date partner,
Okay. I see.
something like that. I
Okay.
don't know.
Okay.
And this is like a result screen. I mean, after we um, after man, we already have this information, so we can. It's like, okay, so this is John. Oh no, this is John's date, right? So I mean, Mary rate you 5 to 5. So you guys are an amazing match, right? So
Okay.
is
Okay.
is like is yeah. I mean, I don't
Gotcha.
know.
That sounds good. Thank you for that. We're
Okay,
also going to move
welcome.
on to Sunny, and she's going to explain her three screens. Okay. And Sunny, are you able to use voice?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Actually, I'm gonna start a timer just because I want to keep the flow going. So you have about
Yeah.
2 minutes to explain a free screen. Is that okay?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
got it. Okay. So for this one, I didn't quite finish it because I overestimated how long 1 minute was. But this is the message page when you're
Mhm.
messaging your match,
Mhm.
and I intended to have like a section where there were prompts. So like when the
Mhm.
conversation is dying down, you can like toggle through and select a prompt, and then y'all can have a conversation about that, and that'll just keep engagement up.
Mhm.
For this screen right here on the right corner,
Mhm.
just a good filter system, like where you can filter your matches by like location or age or all of those good things. I know some of the systems don't really have like good filter, or they'll pay you for specific filters. They'll charge you for specific filters. And then down here in the bottom right corner,
Mhm.
just like highlighting users who have like a really good reputation. If we're doing like the reputation system, kind of piggybacking off of what the last user was talking about, with just kind of after your date, given like a brief thing. So the reputation would probably be based off of that.
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
Mhm.
And we're going to move on to Leslie. Hey, Leslie.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we
Yep.
can.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Okay, so for my three ideas, since our user is a musician, I thought it would be kind of a fun addition if you could add like a theme song to your profile. So
Mhm.
similar to like Hinge, you know how you can record like a message.
Mhm.
Like, what
Mm-hmm.
if you're able to pick like 15 seconds from your favorite song or something, just
Mhm.
to kind of like break the ice a little bit.
Mhm.
For this second one, I thought of like there would be like a ghost alert. So say you're having a conversation with someone and it's going really well, but they just don't respond. So then you have an option to be like mark them as like they're ghosting.
Mhm.
So I guess these two kind of go together because like the your match would receive an alert like, hey, you're ghosting, do you still want to talk or no, kind of thing.
Mhm.
um, and then here, the concept for this bottom screen was to kind of like have like the different sections of your profile. You can either like something about their section or dislike something. So maybe like they put that they love Taylor Swift and you love Taylor Swift or something. Like you can like that, or you could dislike that, and it would just kind of like perhaps calculate your matches a little bit better between like other users. I'm not sure, but yeah, those are kind of my ideas.
Okay, great. Thank you. So now that we got all of our explanations, now it's up to Team A to vote for each other's screens. So how this is going to work is out of all the screens that you've seen, including the explanation behind it, you're going to vote once for your first choice, once for your second choice, and once for your third. So I think we should have maybe some more emojis here. Just because we're doing so many votes, we're just not gonna. It'll be easier just to copy and paste some of these things. And also, Claire, we're also voting as well. So,
Okay.
yeah, I'm just gonna create some extra hearts here. And I think we should take about like a minute or 2 minutes for voting. So let's just do like 1 minute for the first one, just to make sure that we're not spilling over and accidentally voting too many times. So Claire,
Okay.
do you want to do like 1 minute counter, and we're gonna vote
Yep.
for our first favorite screen. And
Yeah.
by the way, Team B, you can spectate. You don't need to vote. This is just for Team A to vote. Okay, so let's start.
Yep.
Okay, so I think, are we done voting?
Hold on. 3.
Should we vote 3 times, or this is just for the
No.
first?
We're just gonna do the first round, just so
Okay,
that it's
okay,
not
okay,
confusing. Yeah.
okay.
So I think we picked our first choice, right? So first choice is, let me count up all the hearts. It's Newman's example here. So I'm gonna move the hearts down a little bit so I can just indicate which screen is the first choice. This one was voted first. And we're gonna do our second choice. So again, we're gonna use emoji hearts. Maybe I'll move some of these off of the frame just so it's not so confusing. Sorry about that, guys. There we go. And I'll move some of these away. Alright, so let's do our second choice. How did we do this last time? Claire, did we just remove? Did we just take the emojis and then remove them?
Yeah, we took out the emojis. We
Yeah.
we basically highlight the ones that was voted.
Yeah,
down.
yeah, okay.
So less confusing.
Yeah,
So
let me just
them
take
away.
these off. So yeah, too many hearts here. All right, so let's vote for our second choice. I'm just gonna take off those hearts too. Thank you very much. Starting now.
Yep. I think we're good. 'cause
Great.
we're
I think
5,
that
right?
yeah, that's unanimous. All right. So Leslie has the second choice, and I'm just gonna quickly delete these emojis and then put another sticky note down. This is second choice. Okay, and now we're gonna do our third choice. Same thing. We're gonna vote once for our third favorite.
Okay, I'm starting timer. Okay,
Okay,
I think we
so
casted our votes. Yep, we have a tie.
yeah, we have a tie. So how can we do this? I guess they're both voted third. I guess so.
Yeah.
Because we could always
Okay.
determine which screens will be used in your final hi-fi prototype within your team. So that's why we're kind of doing the votes. We're just trying to help you to make a
Yeah.
decision when you're presenting your screens for week 3. So both of these ones have won third place. But of course, within your team, you could always figure out which one works best, or a
Nice.
combination of both ideas. Alrighty, so I think that's it for Team A. So thank you very much. This will be your homework for week 3, Team A. You're going to take the screens that you've scribbled down and develop a hi fi prototype. So that means within your team, you're going to work on the same screens together. Or you could decide how to work on it. Maybe one person does each screen. It's up to you. So you get to communicate with your team any way that you like. You can meet up with them on Discord. You can create some kind of call or some kind of group messaging. But it's totally up to you guys how you present your final screens. Um, if you have more questions about it, stick around for the end of the event. We'll gladly answer some more questions about how you could do that. So now we're gonna go on to Team B, and we're gonna do presentations first. So we're gonna start off
Mhm.
with Mandy. Mandy, you have 3 screens here. Are you able to use a voice command or you use a voice chat?
Hello?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool. Sorry. All right. So the first one I picked was kind of like in the onboarding process
Mm-hmm.
to just help alleviate that and also kind of speed up the matching process and using kind of like a stock profile to
Mm-hmm.
get like a gauge of what people's preferences are.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that was my first idea. This other one on the bottom left,
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like if the conversation has stopped,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to just saying like, "Do you just want to continue chatting?" More of like putting in a prompt that might be more personal to be like, "How do you want to?" Like, I don't know, like ignite more intimacy and more like authentic connection,
Mm-hmm.
and putting that there. And then the last one on the bottom right, reviewing the match and like how your interaction has been with the match rather than like how did the date go, um because I feel like they might be different kind of metrics and like how has it been like interacting with this person on that app and doing like a rating system.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Thank you.
Yeah.
And we're gonna move on to Lackey. So we have 3 screens at the bottom. Are you able to use voice?
Yes, hello.
Yes.
Okay.
Awesome. So the first idea is letting a user manage a social media feed for himself. So people who are interested in him or her can follow up with him, and he can maintain his. So the people can see who is he or who is she uh, before matching themselves, like going forward with like advance. So that's the first idea.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically it allows you to post things and stuff. So the next idea is like I could be having travel plans because right now one of the problems we had was like the proximity. So if I planned my trip around, let's say around the world, I can just have that plan here, and uh, according to that I could see the available people who I can follow and see interest on these things. So it's very focused, not like very vague search results. And the third one is this is from the app side itself, from the company, us. We are hosting events or like kind of parties so to get people out because normally people, I assume, people who are getting ghosted is like have lacking social skills or they don't think that they are looking good enough or something like that. So this is to encourage people to get together and have conversation to meet new people. Uh,
Mm.
yeah, these are my three ideas.
Okay. Very cool. Thank you. And we're going to see William's examples. Hey,
Is
William.
my mic working?
Yep.
Okay, so for this first screen up top here,
Yep.
it's the conventional way in dating apps is like it shows you one profile and it shows you like everything. So this is just like a little like instead of showing you like the entire profile, it's like showing you a breakdown of like three,
Mm-hmm.
and then having like like name, like small details of like hobbies, interests, off to the side with like a picture.
Mm-hmm.
And this one here on the bottom left is a little pop-up window, and it's like telling you basically like about what the app is aiming to accomplish, like how it's anti-ghosting.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like this represents the text. This is like next window,
Mm-hmm.
and the continue buttons down here.
Mm-hmm.
And the one on the bottom right is like stay matched. And it's I didn't really put much into this because I was short on time, but it's like it has like text. I meant to put the text up here, and then yes or no.
Okay. So this is like an on-screen prompt.
Yeah, on screen
Okay.
prompt. Yes.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. Thank you. And that's it for Team B. Now it's time for voting. So just like what we did with Team A, we're just going to do it one at a time. So for our first round of voting, we're going to vote for our favorite, like our first favorite screen. So everyone pick one emoji and vote only once for the screens that you've heard being explained.
Okay, I just started the timer.
Thank you. Okay, so I think that's everyone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I think, Mandy, you got the first nomination. So I'm just going to put first screen right here. I'm going to remove the emojis and we're going to do the same process again, picking our second favorite. So I'm just going to move the emojis away and whoops. There we go. And we will vote again for the second favorite.
All right, timer started. I think
Yep.
we are good on the votes. Yeah.
Okay. So Lackey has been nominated. You get the second screen. And thank you very much, Claire.
Mhm.
Visiting builder. That's what your name is on Miro.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So again, for the third screen, let's set the timer
Yep.
now. Okay. And William has the third best screen. Awesome. So just like what I said before with Team A, you're going to be working together to develop a hi-fi prototype, and the number 1, 2, and 3 voted best screens will be the screens that you'll be showing for the final presentation day on week 3. And if you have any questions from Team A and Team B about how you should do this, it's best to consult with your team, get to know each other, get each other's contact names on like Discord or whatever you use, whatever platform you use for chatting, and figure out like what kind of platform you guys want to work in. Is it going to be on Figma? Is it going to be on Sketch? It's up to you, right? So we kind of leave this undefined so that, sort of like in a hackathon, you guys work together on building these 3 screens. And it's also a little bit less pressure. So if your UI skills are not, advanced, you can definitely learn a lot from people who are a little bit more advanced, and you can work together on how you can bring your skills together for this project. But just to remind you, the screens that you've represented, you don't have to have a complete user flow process. You don't have to do any kind of like extensive research onto how the user flow is going to look like. If you want to, and if you have the extra time to plan that out, you can. However, if you're strapped for time and you're feeling stressed out, like, don't worry about including all the details. This is all just for practice. Okay? Do we have any questions so far about expectations for week 3? Yeah, Lackey says, how do we get connected? So yeah, if most of you are familiar with the Collective Studio, we have a Discord server. If you don't know where to find us, we could just drop a link to our Discord server. Oh, I think William has a question. Sorry. Let me just address William. Hello.
Hello.
Yep.
I was just wondering, like, if I can't afford part 3, can I still do a prototype?
Oh yeah, absolutely. If you can't afford part 3, that's no problem. I could always issue you a free ticket. I think I have your email address, I have your ticket, so I can actually issue you like a free ticket for next week. If you want to participate in the kind of community that we have on Discord, I'm going to post a link to our Discord server so that you can join and meet some of your teammates there. If you don't know how Discord works, it's rather simple. You could sign up for a free account. It doesn't require you to spend any money. And it's also really easy to learn. So definitely if you jump on our server and you don't know where to start, just ask questions and we'll help you out. I'm always online. My name is Chocolato on the Discord server. So if you ever see me or Claire, feel free to ping us or DM us if you're lost, okay? So let me just give you that link so that you could join. And there you go. So that's our Discord server link. And I'm assuming everyone is on Discord because I see everyone sharing their screen names. So I'm going to close the chat so no one sees this on the live stream. Other than that, I think we're all connected. Make sure you get in touch with your teammates. If you're lost and you don't know how to find your teammates, you can go to the Designers Talk channel. You can ask a question. Claire and we can help you. Or at least help track down your teammate in case they get lost or something. Yeah. And that kind of concludes what we've done for this event. We're a little bit over time by like 10 minutes, but yeah, thank you so much, guys, for staying with us and participating. It was a lot of fun. One thing, though, before you leave, before we end this session, please, 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 please go check out this link here. This is a feedback form. We really thrive on feedback. So let us know your honest opinions about this event. Let us know how it is that we can improve, as well as just tell us, like, what did you like about this experience? So please let us know and check out that feedback form before you leave. Okay? I think that's it. That's all I got to say. Do you have anything to say, Claire?
No, I just want to thank everyone for coming and joining us, and I hope you all had a great time doing this and learning to collaborate with each other and just doing this really fun activity. Oh, and the survey link is if you go a bit downward on the board, you should see this little illustration, and it says, "We would like to know your feedback."
Yeah, I'm gonna post the link in the chat so it's a little bit easier to find.
Right, yeah. Again, it will only take 1 minute, like seriously. Just like let us know what you think, and then we want to keep making this better for our future participants. And then if you would like to come back more for different activities and different brainstorming sessions, like, happy to have you back. So thank you so much again.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. All right, I'm gonna end the live stream, and then I will close the conference in a few minutes. So I'll give you some time to get in touch with your teammates, but we gotta close the conference room, okay?